today's lesson will work on our intermediate course, and here Unit 8, fourth part, 8.4, speaking and writing. Our goals here are take notes while listening and prepare and give a short talk from notes. Writing and listening, taking notes. Exercise 1, make a list of at least 5 decisions that you have made today. And here, 1, put the decisions in order of importance. 2, tell a partner about one of the more important decisions on your list. Did you make it quickly or think about it for a long time? Did you discuss it with anyone else? Pause the video and try to do this exercise in a written form. And now let's check the possible answers. Well, I have made a lot of decisions today. It's 11 a.m. and I have made a decision to shoot video all day long, record videos. It's number 1 decision. Number 2 decision was editing one of the videos. And number 3 was having a test with my intermediate group. They are moving on to upper intermediate. And the 4th decision was having a little bit of rest today. And 5th decision is watching UFC fight. And their importance is, the first one is recording a video, second one is editing video, third one is having a test, fourth one is having a rest, and the last one is of watching some shows. And I didn't think very much when I was making these decisions, because it's just overthinking is not a good idea, because when you start overthinking, when it takes too much time to think about some idea, it's gonna be really exhausting, and it is gonna take a lot of your energy, and you're not gonna be as efficient as you would be without spending long time to think. Exercise 2, listen to the beginning of a lecture about making decisions and tick the topics the speaker mentions. And here topics are types of decisions that we make, why we all make bad decisions, and the number of decisions that we make.
Audio 8.8.
Hello everyone. My name is Stuart French, and I'm here to talk to you about something we all have to do about 70 times every day. Make a decision. Obviously, some are more straightforward than others. Most people don't have too much trouble deciding what to have for breakfast, for example, but some decisions can be a lot trickier. So, in today's talk, I'm going to look at how understanding the decision-making process can help us to make better decisions when we really need to. First, I want to tell you about some factors that affect our decision-making. Then, I'll talk about methods people use to make decisions. And finally, I'll give you some tips about decision-making.
And now, if you have finished, let's check the answers. Well, speaker briefly mentions the types. For example, what to have for breakfast, and the number of decisions, about 70 times a day, every day, we make. Exercise 3A, look at the note a student took during the lecture, listen again, and complete the note.
Audio 8.8.
Hello everyone. My name is Stuart French, and I'm here to talk to you about something we all have to do about 70 times every day. Make a decision. Obviously, some are more straightforward than others. Most people don't have too much trouble deciding what to have for breakfast, for example, but some decisions can be a lot trickier. So, in today's talk, I'm going to look at how understanding the decision-making process can help us to make better decisions when we really need to. First, I want to tell you about some factors that affect our decision-making. Then, I'll talk about methods people use to make decisions. And finally, I'll give you some tips about decision-making.
And now, if you have finished, let's check the answer. Introduction. Average person approximately 70 decisions per day. Exercise 3B, look at the abbreviations. What do you think the full words are? Pause the video and try to create a meaning from these abbreviations on your own. And now let's check the possible answers. As you see, intro is possibly introduction, av is possibly average person, and approx means approximately, decisions, and this slash means it's per or a day. Exercise 4A, read the information in the language or writing box and check your answers. Language for writing, taking notes. When taking notes, to write quickly and to save time, we write only the key information and leave out prepositions and articles. And for example, instead of the average person, we have to say F person. And here, as you see, we have the article. We're leaving it out, and we're not writing the complete word of average person because the word F is already explainable or already understandable, comprehensible by other people, and the main idea is to get as much information as possible in a short period of time. And here we use abbreviations, often the beginning of the word: intro, introduction, average, approximately. Exercise 4B, work with the partner and look at the abbreviations. What do you think they are short for? Pause the video and try to find this information on your own and write it on your notebook. And now, if you have finished, let's check the possible answers. Well, it's personal or person, information, negative, advantages, disadvantages, possible, problems, about, important, and number. Exercise 5. Listen to the next part of the lecture. Complete the notes using abbreviations. Compare your answers with a partner.
Audio 8.9.
So, what factors affect our decision-making? The first thing I'd like to mention is the number of decisions we make. Recent research seems to show that making conscious decisions actually makes the brain feel tired. As we make more and more decisions, we become less effective. So, if you have an important decision to make, it's probably best to do it early in the day before you've had to make too many other, less important decisions. Another major factor that affects our decision-making is how much information we have to consider. It's obviously a good idea to have some information before we make a decision. However, studies show that if we have too much information to deal with, we're more likely to make the wrong decision. It seems that it's just too much for our brains. The third and last factor I want to mention today is stress. Researchers have found that people making decisions under stress are more likely to think about the possible positive results of a decision and less likely to think about the negatives. So, if you're under stress at work and trying to decide whether to leave, you're more likely to think about how great it will feel to leave and less about how you'll actually get a new job.
And now, if you have finished, let's check the answers. Factors affecting decision making. Number of decisions we make. Too many decisions make brain tired. To make important decisions, do it early. Also, consider how much information you need. Past, to have. Possible, to have too much. And stress can make you think more about positive results than negatives. Exercise 6A. Listen to the last part. Exercise 6A. Listen to the last part of the lecture and take notes on the main points using abbreviations where you can.
Audio 8.10.
Now, let's move on to look at how to make a decision. One common method is to gather the necessary information, but not too much, remember. List the possible solutions and set a time limit. This helps you to be more decisive. Another useful thing to do is to make 2 lists on a piece of paper, the advantages and the disadvantages, and then see if you have more advantages than disadvantages and how important each one is. In fact, Charles Darwin, the great evolutionary scientist, is said to have used this method to decide whether to ask his girlfriend to marry him. Not a great romantic, though. Many people believe that it's sometimes a good idea to be guided by our heart, our gut feeling. So remember that overthinking things can sometimes make your decision-making ability worse. So, we've looked at some of the things that affect our ability to make decisions and some ways to make decisions. Now I'd like to finish with a tip. Decision-making can be a difficult and complicated process. Don't expect everyone to agree with your decisions, and be prepared to accept that sometimes you will make the wrong choices. Are there any questions?
And now, if you have finished, let's check the suggested answers. And the suggested answers are: gather information, list possible solutions, set time limit, make a list of advantages and disadvantages, how important each is, don't think too much, sometimes we make bad decisions. Exercise 6B, compare your answers with a partner. Speaking, giving a talk. Exercise 7A, look at some of the phrases from the lecture, match each group A to F to a category 1 to 6. Pause the video, try to do this exercise in a written form. And now, if you have finished, let's check the possible answers. And A is 2, talking about the structure of your talk. B is 6, inviting questions. C is 3, sequencing your points. D is 1, introducing yourself or your topic. E is 5, starting the conclusion. F is 4, starting a new section. Exercise 7B. Check your answers with a partner. Use a language for speaking box to help you. Exercise 8A. Prepare and give a 2-minute talk. Choose a topic and make notes for the introduction, the main body, and the conclusion. Use a language for speaking box to help you. Here topics are: social, a difficult decisions that I have made, the country I would most likely to move to, work, a job I would like to do, how to be a successful manager, other job, study, the course I would most like to study, how to pass exams. Pause the video and, using the language for speaking box, prepare your talk in a written form and then try to prepare for speaking. Language for speaking, giving a talk. Introduction, introducing yourself, your topic. Hello everyone, I'm Jahangir and I'm here to talk to you about. I'm going to talk about. Talking about the structure of your talk. Firstly, then, and finally. Main body, sequencing your points. The first point I would like to talk about is. Our next factor is. The third and last factor is. Starting a new section. Let's move on now to look at. Conclusion. Starting the conclusion is. So we have looked at. Now I would like to finish with inviting questions. Does anyone have any questions? Are there any questions? Exercise 8B. Work with a partner. Practice the talk you have prepared. Pause the video and prepare for speaking and read the notes you have taken. Exercise 8C. Give your talk to the class, to your group, as you listen to other talks. Decide what the most interesting piece of information in each talk is. Compare your choice with a partner. And now let's look at the possible answer. Here, well, I'm going to talk about the course I would like to take in the future. It is going to be cognitive psychology. And firstly, I will tell you about why I would like to learn this topic, and then I will explain the importance, and finally I will recommend some places to look for to get more information. And the first point I would like to talk about is that the reason why I like this subject is because, well, we are all humans and we are all cognitive creatures, and we have to know how the brain works, how human behavior is formed and shaped, and how we can be affected by several factors. And our next factor is, and now let's move on now to talk about the importance of the topic, because, well, when you know these factors, when you know human behavior, when you know how to manipulate this thing, you can easily advance in your career, in your family life, in your work life, because, well, if you can rule over people, if you can manipulate people, or if you can change people's point of view slightly, it's going to be for your advantage. And as you see, we have looked at the importance of the topic and the reason why I would like to study this topic. And the last question, the last point I would like to make is, the last factor I would like to include is you can just learn this thing anywhere you want because you don't have to go to university for this. There are a lot of books, online materials, a lot of lectures on YouTube. So it's possible to self-study and learn this structure. And are there any questions? Exercise 9. After you have given your talk, complete the self-assessment of your performance by circling a number at the end of each sentence. And first, 1. Needs improvement. 2. Okay. 3. Excellent. Pause the video and give your honest evaluation on your own speech. And here the structures are: I spoke slowly and clearly. I was happy with my use of grammar. I used a range of phrases from the key language box. I made appropriate eye contact with the audience. I used positive body language. I looked confident and smiled. I was happy with my use of vocabulary. Exercise 10. Task. Work with a partner. Talk about the assessment in exercise 9a and together choose 2 things that were good about your talks and 2 ways you could improve in the future. That's the end of our today's lesson. See you in the next lessons.